How you feeling? Okay, so I have a question for you, and it's this. I want you to think about your week, just this week. And I want to ask you, in terms of feeling good, if I go on a scale from 0 to 10, and I am going to ask you to raise your hands, think about this whole week, the entire week, put it all together, and come up with a number between 0 and 10 for you feeling good. Now, 0 means 0 and backwards. Means you didn't even land on the chart. So, between 0 and 10. Okay, anybody at a 0? Are you saying you're a 0, Dick Woody? No. You're scratching your head. Okay, good. This is not the time to scratch your head. He was like, I got it, okay. A 1 and a 2, no. 1, 2. Now, it's not just right now. I know you all feel like a 10 now, yes? Yeah. Right, so this is the whole week. 2. Hildy, you're just fanning yourself, right? Okay, good. 3. I can't see you. 4. Oh, you're a 4. Okay, 4. I see some 4s. Okay, 5s. Okay, there's some 5s. 6. A little more. Okay, good. You all have to raise your hand at least once. 7. Okay, good. 8. 2 hands. That's good. 9. Scott. Okay, good. 10. Okay. Okay, I would probably be around a 9.5. I had a few moments that weren't so good, but about a 9.5, and there's a reason for my 9.5, because if something happens in your life that is so spectacularly amazing, it kind of pulls all the numbers up, you know, and I had one of those moments this week, which I'll talk about a little later. So the point of this is to show you that even though you know what good is, like, you know, dragonfly out in the sun, or sun in the sky, you know, even though you know what good is, you have different levels of it, don't you? You know when you feel this, when you feel that, when you feel the other thing. So good, then, is very subjective. Good for me is not good for Charles. Good for you is not good for me, perhaps. You know, there are different levels of good. So I was having a great week this week. I thought I was having a really terrific week this week. And then it was my birthday week, so I knew I was going to be having a birthday. I knew I was going to be, you know, turning 61, and I thought, wow, that's going to be interesting. I thought saying 60 was interesting. Now 61. And I'm getting just less and less interested in it, which is great. So, little less. So, I'm working on it. I really am. I'm making a choice not to be that interested in it, to be honest. So I knew I was having this great week, and I knew it was going to be a good week. And then the beautiful Kelly Lang took me to visit someone on Thursday. And I went to visit someone who I consider kind of a living saint. It felt like I was sitting kind of with the Dalai Lama or someone like that. And this woman's name is Anita Marjani, who wrote a book called Dying to Be Me. And I think it's in our bookstore. I'm going to ask everyone to read it. It was a book that really spoke to me about a year ago, 2 years ago, when I first read it. And I've held this woman up as such a beautiful mentor without ever meeting her, because of how she walks the planet. As someone who died and in death remembered who she was so clearly, so vividly, that she decided to come back. She said, well, now that I know this, I'm going back. And she did, to defy everyone, since she was already, our organs had shut down, she was completely gone, and they were just waiting for the last moment. And instead she opened her eyes and started talking to them, which shocked the hell out of everyone, all that because she had tumors throughout her entire body, grapefruit-sized tumors everywhere. And within 10 days, there was no cancer whatsoever anywhere. And they can't explain it, but she can. And so she does. She goes around the world explaining it. So sitting in her presence took my level of good to such a high level, I didn't realize that I hadn't really been living at a level of good that I really was comfortable with. I was just comfortable with it, rather. It was like, yeah, it's good. You know how you say to people, how you doing? Good. I'm good. It's all good. But you know there's subtext under that. It's all good. Is it all good? No, not all of it, but it's all good. right? And that's what we do. So this Thursday meeting, and thank you, Kelly, for that, was just, it took me, and I thought, this is the last day of my being 60, and I am getting something, such a gift. And it was supposed to just be an hour lunch, we'll just go by. And her apartment overlooking the ocean, we walked in, and there is a wall-to-wall glass window with just the ocean. So it was like, I have died and gone to heaven, but I'm coming back with what I know. So levels of good. So there are so many different levels of good you can live at. And when I left there, we basically floated home. All the next day, that night, the next day, my birthday, I was kind of in this cloudy feeling of like, what just happened? And why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like there is something in me that just needs to get out? Get out of the way, James, and let it. It's called good. And it is a good that is yours to have beyond anything you could imagine. So as I was putting this talk together, the title of my talk today is Redefining Good. And that's what I want us to do today. I want us to really get clear on what good means. So I went, of course, to the dictionary, and there were so many different definitions. So I'm going to read these to you. Here we go. Good, of a favorable character or tendency, such as good news. Bountiful, fertile, such as good land. Handsome, attractive, such as good looks. Suitable, fit, good to eat. Free from injury or disease, one good arm. Not depreciated. Bad money drives out good money. Commercially sound, a good risk. That which can be relied upon, good for another year, good for $100, always good for a laugh. Profitable, advantage, made a very good deal. Agreeable, pleasant, had a good time. Amusing, clever, a good joke. Of a noticeably large size or quantity, considerable, won by a good margin. Full, weighted for good humor, used as an intensive, a good many of us. Well-funded, good reasons. You get the point, right? Before I go crazy reading the rest of these. There were like, I'll tell you how many there were. 31 of these. So, scientifically speaking, we teach that there is only good. Yes? Yes. If you don't know, that's what we teach. We teach that there's only God. Yes? Yes. If you don't know, that's what we teach. And therefore, we teach that God and good are the exact same thing. Because if there's only God and only good, there can't be only two things. There's one thing. God, good. So when I say I am God, as hard as that is for so many to hear, and this was a beautiful moment, Anita's husband, Danny, who's in the book, and it's so funny when you go into someone's house who you've read their book, you feel like they're friends of yours, that you know them. I'm like, oh, Danny, hi. He's like, I've never met him. And Ridley Scott has bought the book, and they're now in pre-production of writing the movie of her life, of this. I cannot wait to see it. But I asked him at one point, we were talking about God, and I said, can I just get a sense here? Because they were both Hindu, they're both from India. They live in, thank you, Hong Kong and Redondo Beach. I know, think about that. Hong Kong, Redondo Beach. So I asked him, I said, just give me your idea of God. And he said to me, he said, well, every time I answer this question, I feel like someone's going to take out a shotgun. And I always check the room. Because I really feel like when I answer the question, everybody's just going to go, what? What, are you crazy? And I was like, wow, what's he going to say? Like, I don't believe in God. God doesn't exist. And I said, so what's your answer? He said, God is me. I am God. Now, I hadn't gone into my spiel yet. And he said, I am God. And Kelly and I were like, ah! We've arrived. And he just said it so, he said, it's not easy to say. He's like, I don't know if you know, but it's not easy to talk about this out there. I was like, really? Wow. I literally took my congregation and split it down the middle because a lot of people that used to come here don't come here because they don't want to hear I am God. They're not ready to hear that. And I had to be willing, and I was telling them this, I had to be willing to let go. Because if I wasn't willing to let go of those who don't want to hear this, then I would be living a lie of someone who's standing here not saying what I'm here to say. So I had to be okay with that. And more will come. Build it, and they will come. Say it, and those who hear it and know it will come. So scientifically speaking, good, all this is energy. We are sitting here today in a pool of energy. We are energy. I am the energy of life. I am that good. It's just energy. So if it's just energy, how come there are days when I am a 7 and days when I am a 2? Why are there days when I'm a 10 and I don't stay there? How can I become a 10 and then go back to a 2? How many of you have done that? Right? We're a 10. It's like, oh my God. And then, oh no, we're not. No, I'm a 2. I'm a 10, I'm a 2, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, whatever. I mean, that's how our minds work. But here's the good news. Here's the good news as opposed to the bad news. There's no duality. What if I were to stand here today and redefine good as that which is the only thing going on ever? And you no longer had to decide what was good for you, because it's all good for you. All of it. Not the good, bad, and the indifferent. It's all good. We hear that all the time. It's all good. We hear that in religious science, in what we teach. It's all good. But I don't know that we know what that means. It doesn't feel all good all the time, does it? It doesn't. Sometimes it feels bad. I mean, I could sing a song feeling bad. You know? Bird in the sky pooped on my head. Feeling bad. I could do that. Not as well as Charles. I'll give you new lyrics next week. So if it's all good, it would really make our lives a lot simpler than having to spend our lives in a dualistic understanding of this world where it's not all good. It's good and bad. And here's what I mean by that. If you were to have said you were a 0, it just means you're living the good that there is to live at that level. Y'all just did it for me. You all just showed me what level this week you think you lived this good at. So all there is good. And your level of being willing to live it at whatever level that is. Anita told this story that I'd like to try to make you picture this. The table we ate lunch at was literally right at the window with the ocean right there. Of course, she had us sit looking at the ocean. But really, I was looking at her and the ocean behind her. And so she was trying to explain, because I asked her, I said, can you just tell me what it was like to die? What was that moment like? I read the book, so I know how you explained it, but I'd love to hear you explain it. You know, and is that boring for you? I mean, you've been alive now for quite a while. So, you know, and she's like, no, good. So she started to explain it to me, and she used a metaphor that as I sat there, I could feel the tears coming down my eyes. I could feel the truth that was being revealed. And what she said was this: imagine yourself blind. Imagine that your existence in this world is an existence where you see nothing. You cannot see or differentiate between anything. And she said, look at the glasses on this table. There's a purple one, a green one, a yellow one, and I think a red one. She said, to someone who's blind, it's the same glass. You pick it up, it's the same glass. There's no, what is color? You know, you can't, what is the ocean? The ocean's this thing that's wet. I don't color, I don't have any visual. So you live your entire life blind. And then all of a sudden, you're 40 years old, and out of nowhere, you gain vision. She said, just take a moment and ask yourself, what would that feel like to suddenly see everything? Everything. Everything you look at suddenly is new, and it all makes such sense. She says, the overwhelming feeling of coming alive in vision is just astounding. She said, that's what it felt like, to see everything clearly for the first time, to see as I've never seen before. She said, now, imagine coming back into a world where everyone else is blind. She said, where most people are blind. She said, how do you explain to them what the colors were? And I'm just like, the tears are coming down my eyes, and I'm thinking, that's it. I've been trying to explain color to a colorblind universe. That's what it is. And so we talked further about the way to do this is through feeling, the feeling of it. And I certainly was feeling it. And the idea that at any moment in your life, you can glimpse the light, you can open your mind, you can open your eyes and see the truth. As soon as you start to be aware of the truth and be willing to literally embody the truth. And so the truth is that we need to redefine the word good and the word God. My good is my God is my good. Emma Curtis Hopkins and Karen Mitchell. Right? My good is my God is my good. It's all the same thing. And now it's impersonal. And now it is just the same thing through and through and through. Cancer, good. Win the lottery, good. And what I'll say is, cancer, I'm not really great with that level of good. Win the lottery, yeah, bring it on. Love, good. Hatred, a really lower level of good. And so you know what that brings me to, and what's so amazing about this? We've had a whole month of feeling good. And I don't know about you, but for me, there were moments this month when I wasn't feeling so good. And when it came up to me that I'm not feeling so good, I'm like, and it's feeling good month. God, really, it really annoyed me. It just annoyed me. And so what I would do is get up and go. From wherever I was, get up, go outside, get up, go take a walk, go get in the car, drive up to the top of the mountains. Because I knew that if I just moved, I would move this energy. And the energy is the energy of good, no matter what you want to call it. You can call depression by any other name, it's still good. Because if we get to that place where it's only good, guess what happens? We're at choice. We're at choice. If there's not good and bad, we stop the duality of thinking bad can come in and throw me off my balance. It can't. I throw me off my balance because I've accepted it somehow. But if we really get that good is just that thing that we all are, good, God, I am good, I am that energy. I'm now at choice. I get to choose. And if I'm in a funk, if something happens, I'm in a funk, I am at choice because I know who I am. I'm good. Good is an energy. Good is an atmosphere. When we say we're feeling good, people that are feeling good, all of you, when Charles finished singing, the energy in this room, the atmosphere of this room was spectacular. Couldn't you feel it? Everyone, you all jumped to your feet. There's an energy. That atmosphere of good, it's a creative atmosphere. It is creating. Your mind is creating based on the atmosphere you are living in. So every time you are feeling good at a level of 1, you are creating from the level of 1. Every time you feel good at the level of 10, you are creating from that level of 10. And again, it's just a choice. But you can't help creating at what level you're at. So if I decide to work myself into a feeling good moment, that's what treatment is. It's just using the mind to know the truth so I feel good about what I'm now going to say. I want this in my life. I say I want this in my life from an atmospheric 10 of good, and the universe says, yes. I say I want good in my life from a level of 2 where I really hate what's going on, and the universe says, because it's going to match your energy. It's going to match your atmosphere. It's going to match the good you're living at. So I think if we, right here today, I think if we redefined good, got rid of everything else, and started to understand that good is just the divine energy that I am, and I call everything good, I just decide, do I want to live at this level of good? And get rid of bad. Do you know what minds would be like that walked the planet knowing there was no such thing as bad, evil? No such thing as dark energy? It would be amazing. I'd have no room for that in my mind. How could anything go wrong when I know I am the good? And no matter what comes along, I will just take whatever that is, put it right here, and take it up to the 10. You have a divine elevator in your mind. Sometimes you haven't gotten on it. And sometimes you get stuck between floors. But at any moment, you can just zoom right up to the 10 if you want to. It is your choice. So this is the whole concept behind redefining good, redefining God, redefining, very often I'm asked, you say I am God. Couldn't you put it in a way that would be more digestible? So I do. I say, well, I am love. And they're like, great, I totally get that. Because God is love. And I'm like, God is love. So if God is love and I say I am love, what's the point of not saying I am God? And I get it. And I also get that we are on a journey that is going to take steps. I get that. And I love that the Pope is on the same journey. Somebody asked him about gay marriage. And he said, and I almost fell off the couch when I heard this answer. He said, we asked the Pope about gay marriage, and rather than tell us that in the Catholic faith this is not allowed, he basically said, all people deserve all rights. I was like, who said that? The Pope? There is an energy going on in the universe right now, and it's an energy for good, because there's no other energy. And that good is defined by the person who is the good itself. David Allen Cruz defines good according to his feelings, his emotions, his intelligence, what he knows, what he believes. And every single one of you defines good based on what your beliefs are. So if we can take at least the belief in good and bad and be done with it, understand it's only good, and understand that that's who you are, it's what you are, and then know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are a choice. You are a choice to create the exact life you want to create. You are not a victim. You are not subject to anything that's going on, including your own terrible thoughts you may have had, including your own beliefs that no longer work for you. You're not subject to any of it. You are the good. You are this divine energy. You get to create what you want. You get to decide what it is you are here for. You get to decide how much help there is in the world to assist you on this journey. And let me tell you, it's an infinite amount of help. You speak the truth, know the good that you are, decide how you want to live your life, you claim it, then everything necessary for it to unfold perfectly comes forth. That's the way it works. And until we believe that's the way it works, we're going to keep living at the level of thinking it works another way. So today, we redefine good. It is all good. It is all God, no matter what, and I get to choose what level I want to live at. Do I hear a 10? 10! And so it is.